có sắp chìm cái gì ạ?
Vâng, bạn Vân ạ. Thử xem, mình thử lại xem bạn
Cái cổ phiếu nó có.
đâu nhỉ bạn? Long
Mình ra rồi.
may quá. Nó cũng chia mà nó dừng bay. Ok, bạn Vân ạ.
Bay đừng bay nhé.
Bạn Vân chọn gì ạ?
Bay vừa.
Đánh lợi.
Tại sao không dòng tiền ạ?
Cách tiền mặt.
Thật không ạ? Tiền mặt ở chỗ nào vẫn còn ạ? Tiền mặt thực ra vẫn còn một chỗ là chỗ của bạn gì nhỉ? Một là bạn Tâm này, bạn Tiền có tiền mặt này, bạn Tâm có tiền mặt này, bạn Long cũng rất có tiền mặt.
Nhiều.
Tiền mặt ra không thiếu đâu, cái này. Ý bạn thế nào ạ? Dòng tiền thì bạn cũng vẫn có tiền mặt nhưng mà không phải lô đề mấy, nó không phải cái bằng mấy. Mà bạn kia chắc vẫn cần đúng không ạ?
Cho vay nặng lãi dòng tiền.
Dòng tiền à? Ý bạn hai vợ chồng như nào? Đánh bạc tiếp hay là?
Xong rồi nghe anh chị bạc.
Thế đánh bạc cũng phải cần vốn chứ, đúng không? Như vậy là dòng tiền đúng không ạ? Đây là căn nhà 2 gian cho thuê. Các bạn hiểu nhà gian là chung cư khác nhau như nào không ạ? Nhà gian là đúng rồi. Ví dụ như 2 gian này là cùng một chủ sở hữu, nhưng mà chung cư là mỗi phòng là một chủ sở hữu, bạn hiểu không ạ? Ok. Thì với cơ hội này, bạn nào muốn ạ? Bạn Long có 131.000 đô, không phải nói rồi. Bạn Tiệp thì có 19.000 đô tiền mặt. Bạn Tâm thì có 4.300 đô tiền mặt và 1.000 đô dòng tiền. Ở đây có bao nhiêu bạn muốn cơ hội này?
Tiền bạn Tâm thì vẫn mua được này. Mua xong là có thêm 2.
Bao nhiêu bạn muốn cơ hội này ạ? Bao nhiêu bạn?
Một tháng được bao tiền?
Tháng được 280.
Và
3% rồi.
Tháng 3 năm tuổi thôi. Có cách rồi.
Ý bạn thế nào?
Em mua đi.
Tiền mua nhà
Không mua.
Cái kia mình là 120.
Ở đây bao nhiêu bạn muốn ạ?
Bạn Long không mua đi.
Bạn Long kìa.
Về bọn em thích nhưng mà không muốn.
Bạn Long có 150.000 đô kìa. Đầu tư.
Bỏ 10.000 nữa.
Đấy, bao nhiêu bạn nữ hãy dù gì cho gia đình bạn
Lắc đầu.
Không, nếu mà mua hết thì
không đừng nói với tôi, hãy nói với bạn Long. Tay ra lần kia.
Nếu mà mua hết thì sẽ một tháng thu về khoảng
Cũng phải có bao thêm bạn tí thì đó chắc bạn kích cầu thôi.
một tháng thu về hơn 5.000 đô đấy.
Ui, nó sale.
Đâu anh. Nếu mà mua hết không vay ngân hàng thì tiền lãi ngân hàng là 10% không? Ngân hàng cho vay 55 kia, hay là thêm 500 nữa. Thêm 5 triệu nữa, 50.500 nữa. Mua phòng thẳng luôn.
Ê, nghe hay nhỉ, nghe tư vấn của chủ đất.
Mua không vay ngân hàng, có thêm mặt anh ơi, tiền để đây đấy hả?
Nào, bây giờ bạn ý bạn Long như nào ạ?
Em tí lấy tiền mà trả lại.
Long một tháng nữa phải cần dòng tiền. Đó, nhưng mà cái vấn đề là bây giờ có muốn không mà nghe cái cơ hội như thế nào?
Mua đi.
Đây vợ vừa đi xe đất về đấy, vợ vừa xem rồi nhà đẹp không ạ?
Mua sau đó giả lại ngân hàng hết.
Đấy, nghe hay.
Giả lấy tiền mặt giả hết ngân hàng thì là bao nhiêu một
Cơ sư là mua bằng tiền mặt luôn.
Em mua không? Căn nhà 2 gian cho vợ chồng mỗi một gian.
Ôi, anh nghĩ là không được.
Yên thế nào?
6.000.
Nào bà Long quyết định ạ. 1 2 3 có mua không đó? Và ta sẽ mặc cả xong. 3 4. Anh ta thêm mà hay có quà tặng nào
Mua
đâu?
đi. Đấy.
Không mua.
Anh đưa một mức giá tối thiểu lên để họ suy nghĩ. Hoặc mức giá đề xuất.
Mức giá tối thiểu 2.000.
2.000 đô để có gọi này.
Mua.
Có mặc cả không ạ? Hay không?
Mua.
Không, anh có giá khác không?
Không mua thì thôi.
Không mua đấy. Cái đây nào bỏ 2.000 đô ra chơi mà.
Không, ế.
Tôi chưa buồn mẹ, rất muốn
Đấy rồi. Nhà tự mua không?
Ế đấy mà. Ế rồi. Chụp đây. Đấy, nhưng mà câu hỏi là không được xu nào thôi rồi cả. Bạn Long ạ. Bạn Long 131.000 đô. Bạn Long chọn gì ạ? Dòng tiền hay là gây lợi ạ? Dòng tiền, vâng. Căn nhà 8 gian cho thuê. Bỏ 3.000 thì 1.250 đô một tháng, 5% ROI. Bạn có mua không ạ?
Bỏ bao nhiêu?
Bỏ 30.000 thôi thì được 1.250 đô một tháng. 5% ROI mua. Nhận đơn giản lắm.
Nhiều tiền.
Vâng.
Nhà này lại là nhà kia.
Uầy, suýt giờ. Bây giờ bạn Long có thể trả khoản nợ thì sẽ có thể giàu nhanh hơn. Bạn Long là có 100.000 đô. Bạn Long có trả khoản nào ở đây không ạ?
trả cái khoản nào đấy là
Cái trả không? Đấy, trả hết thêm nhá.
Thế xem được bao nhiêu?
20.000. 200.
Giàu nhanh quá.
Ô, chúc mừng.
em
Rồi bạn. Nhanh lên anh.
Vâng, vậy thì
Nhà mình có ô tô kìa.
chúc mừng bạn. Rồi. Nào, chúng ta sẽ ngồi để tổng kết và chia sẻ lại điều hôm nay. Thực ra chia đâu, còn ở sau rất dài đấy. Thì bây giờ là mình sẽ có một cái đoạn chia sẻ để các bạn hiểu hơn về vấn đề.
As I said, starting at the age of 9, my rich dad started teaching me to be a rich man by playing the game Monopoly. So in 1994, my wife Kim and I decided, why don't we put onto a game board what my rich dad taught me so people can have fun learning. So this here is the CashFlow game. There's actually 2 game boards. This is the first one. The first thing here you notice there's 2 tracks. This is called the fast track, and this is called the rat race. And most people are trapped in the rat race. So if you follow the advice of go to school and get a safe, secure job and buy a house and have kids, you get stuck inside this rat race and you never get out. So the object of the cash flow game is to increase your financial IQ so you can get out of the rat race, to have more passive income so you don't have to work anymore, so your money's working hard for you. Then you get on the fast track. Now there really does exist a fast track. In 1933, a man named Joseph Kennedy, father of President John Kennedy, head of the, I think it was the SEC, declared that the fast track was only for rich guys and women. So you had to be a rich person to invest on the fast track. So today, the investments I do are not in the rat race. I don't buy stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. I invest out here. So to invest out here, number one, you have to be rich, and number two, you should be financially educated. The reason so many pro athletes and movie stars lose their money is they have the money, but they don't have the financial education. So they get taken by some of the biggest land sharks on planet Earth who operate out here. So if you're going to be out here, you need 2 things, money and education. So that's what this game board is designed to do, and it's to assist you to get out of the rat race and onto the fast track. So this is the first game board of the cash flow game, and now we'll go on to the second game board. And this, you may recognize, is a financial statement. This financial statement is what separates cash flow from the game of Monopoly. This financial statement here, now don't get intimidated by it, but it's a very important aspect of your financial education. For example, is my banker has never asked me for my report card. My banker has never asked me, if I had good grades, what school I went to. When I go to borrow money, millions of dollars, my banker wants to see my financial statement. So in the real world, outside of school, this is your report card. Your financial statement tells the banker how smart you are, or do you need remedial education, So cash flow, the game was designed to make this, which is technically known as accounting, the single most boring subject on earth, fun. So cash flow teaches you 2 things. It takes the most boring subject on earth, which is accounting, married with the most terrifying subject on earth, which is investing, and we put it together in a game. So this here is a very important aspect of the cash flow game. It's what separates Monopoly from cash flow. So let's go back to the cash flow game, and I'll explain how putting both accounting and investing together is a very important educational tool for your financial education. So now you've seen the second board game, which is the financial statement, and that part can be intimidating to some people, especially if you're not good with numbers or words or just getting new. So let me explain to you why games are so important. As a child, I didn't do well in school. Every time I made a mistake, the teacher would punish me. I don't have a good memory. I was probably ADD, it's hyper fidgety and all this stuff. So the reason I love games, and the reason I created the cash flow game, is whether you did well in school or not, the more you play this game, the smarter you get. And the problem with my poor dad was he thought making mistakes was bad. Look, the only place that's bad is in school. In the real world, the person who makes the most mistakes and learns from it wins. So the reason I created the cash flow board game to get you out of the rat race is you can play this game over And over and over. I want you to make as many mistakes as you can. We have cash flow clubs and cash flow franchises. You can play this game for free or for a very nominal cost. But I hear so many people say, well, I played the game once. I said, well, how do you learn anything once? You don't learn to be a great golfer playing once. You don't learn to drive just driving once. True education is about repetitive, making mistakes, trying new things, and learning. So the beauty of the cash flow game is have fun. Make as many mistakes as you can. Play it as often as you can. Take risks. It's only plain money. Have a good time. And the cash flow clubs have a 10-lesson curriculum. Go through the 10 lessons. Join with like-minded people, but have fun. Make mistakes. The reason my poor dad was poor was because he was terrified of making a mistake. And I don't want you to make mistakes financially in the real world. I don't want you to pay somebody to lose your money. Play this game as many times as you take until you get comfortable that you understand how to get out of the rat race, on the fast rate, how assets, how liabilities work. But have fun, practice, make as many mistakes as possible, and that's how you get financially smarter. This stuff about school, having a good memory and just listening to lectures, is not true learning. To me, that was torture in school. So the reason I love the cash flow game, the reason my wife and I created it in 1994, is we wanted you to have fun, play as many times as you can, teach other people. The more you teach other people, the more you learn. So that's the way it is. So even if you didn't do well in school like me, it doesn't mean you can't get rich. You do have a high financial intelligence, but it's up to you to bring that intelligence out, and that's what the game was designed to do. Make mistakes, have fun, get rich. And that's the difference with the Rich Dad Company. Hello, my name is Robert Kiyosaki, and I'm best known for writing the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. What I'm here today is say welcome to our website and give you a little background information of what makes Rich Dad's financial education different than other financial information companies. First of all, I want to talk about the importance of education. You see, in the world today, we go to school for academic education, reading and writing. Now that's very, very important. My poor dad was a PhD, the head of education in the state of Hawaii, and he really stressed at the importance of academic education, and it is. Unfortunately, being the superintendent of education's son, I wasn't the brightest kid around, and I did flunk out of high school twice because I had a hard time reading and writing. Now, I did graduate from college. I do have a Bachelor of Science degree, but I'm not very good at academic education. Professional education is where they become, a doctor or a mechanic or a web programmer or whatever you do. So professional education is very important, and my mother wanted me to be a doctor, but because my academic grades were so bad, she says, well, I guess you won't be a doctor. And the third type of education that's required, especially today, to be successful is financial education. And unfortunately, our school systems do not teach us much about money. For some reason, our school systems seem to think, that money might be the root of all evil or something. Yet to be successful in the world today, financial education is extremely important. Because of this lack of financial education, we see the rich getting excessively rich. Today we have kids who are 20 years old who are billionaires, and guys my age, after working 40 years have nothing to show for it. So the gap between the rich and the poor is dangerously extreme. Many of the middle class are going from middle class to poor. So that's why financial education is crucial today if you want to, keep your head above water. Because ultimately, this is your greatest asset. You are responsible for your education and what goes in your head. And what the Rich Dad Company does is provide the financial education my rich dad gave me. When I was just 9 years old, my rich dad began to teach me to be a rich man playing the game of Monopoly. And he said the formula for great wealth is found on this great game board, and most of us know the formula for great wealth. It's 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. So as a little boy, at 9 years old, I learned that. And today, even though I wasn't good academically, I'm not too strong professionally, I'm a wealthy person because my rich dad took the time to teach me the importance of financial education. So to be successful today, we need academic, professional, and financial education. And financial education is what the Rich Dad Company is all about. So the third new rule of money is, I think the big mistake is, I hear so many people say it's important to save. That's ridiculous. And the reason that's ridiculous is because what happened in 1971 is crucial. In 1971, the U.S. dollar stopped being money. In 1971, the U.S. dollar became a currency. And what that meant is Richard Nixon, in 1971, the president, took us off the gold standard. That's like giving an alcoholic free rein to the bar, or it's like giving somebody who can't control their spending unlimited credit cards. So what's happening is all the savers today are losers. You know, the problem with 1971 is that the federal government keeps printing money, so the value of your money keeps going down. So these people, I'm saving, 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 and if you notice, as the value of the dollar goes down, prices go up. So they call this inflation. You know, you look at in 1997, oil was about, I think, $10 a barrel. 10 years later, it's about 135 a barrel. So they say it's inflation, but really what it is the dollar's value coming down. So savers are getting wiped out today. So just keep saying to yourself and to your kids to save money, that is not the new rule. That's an old rule. So a very big problem for most people is stop using the word save and use the word hedge. You've got to hedge your money, hedge against losses. Like when I buy a stock, I put a hedge in. I put a stop loss or a put inside of it or a call, whatever I'm doing. I want to stop it. So today, I don't save money, I'm hedging. So in 1997, I started investing in oil, gold, and silver. So as the dollar dropped, oil, gold, and silver went up. So I'm not betting so much on oil, gold, and silver. I'm betting against the U.S. dollar. And that's why this idea that you're going to tell people you need to save money, that's really, really an obsolete idea, because the idea went obsolete in 1971. The U.S. dollar in the last few years has lost almost 80% of its purchasing power. And the prediction is, because this has happened throughout history, it happened thousands of years ago with the Romans, with the Greeks, with the Germans, with the English, the Japanese, and the Chinese. Every time they've made money into a currency, something you could print at unlimited, every time that has happened, the currency has gone to its true value, which is zero. So I am afraid as this economic volatility continues, the savers who were operating by the old rules of money are just going to get wiped out because the purchasing power of their dollar is going to go down. So even if the bank's paying you 5 to 10% interest, you can't keep up with the banks printing money. So that's the old rule of money, is saving money, and the new rule is hedge. You've got to be able to see what's coming up as something else is coming down. The last thing I want to point out to you on this idea of saving money is this. One of the biggest misunderstandings in the world today is what they talk about if I misspell again, apologize, is the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank, which I believe was created in 1913. In 1971, the reason 1971 is such an important time was because the U.S. Federal Reserve became the bank to the world. They could print as much money as they wanted. Never in the history of the world has anybody been allowed to print money for the rest of the world. Let me backtrack one more time. I talked about how the Romans did it, the Greeks did it, and all this. Every time people have done this, chaos has broken out, and that's why there's chaos in the world today. So in 1913, when the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank was created, they were basically allowed to print money for the world. Every time that has happened throughout history, a despot has arrived. For example, in 1933, a man named Adolf Hitler rose to power when the Weimar Republic was allowed to print as much money as it wanted to do. And in Russia, when Russia's currency broke down, a man named Lenin rose. When the Chinese economy broke down, Mao Zedong rose. When the Yugoslavian government broke down, Milosevic arose. So we're in that critical point right now, and one of the causes of it was in 1933, this thing called the U.S. Federal Reserve was created. And I think, they've done a pretty good job of making the rich richer. Unfortunately, many of the poor are getting poor. One of the problems of this is you have to understand that, first of all, the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank is not U.S. It is made up of a bunch of international rich guys from all over the world. The second thing, it is not federal. It's not a U.S. entity. It is, again, a bunch of rich banks from all over the world. Third, it has no reserves. There is nothing there. And fourth, it's not a bank. So that's why when I talk to people about really needing to understand the new rules of money, which really began to take effect in 1971 when we were allowed to print money for the rest of the world, is understanding that this system here is causing the rich to get richer and the poor and middle class to get poorer, but most importantly, the lower middle class is almost getting wiped out. High prices, volatilities in the market, food getting more expensive, gas getting more expensive, savings getting wiped out, home values going around. And the reason the troubles have started, again, is the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank is not U.S., it's not federal, there's no reserve, it's not a bank. So if you understand that, then you can start to hedge your position rather than save money. And that's the new rule of money.